You're listening to the Place Northwest podcast, your digital resource for the latest insight and analysis on all things property in the northwest of England. Listen when you want, where you want.
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah Townsend, editor of Place Northwest. This podcast is an edited excerpt from an interview we did with AEW Architects Managing Director Andy Rainford and Director Colin Savage. At the end of last month, the pair completed a managing buyout of the firm, AEW's second in a decade, and they will now be heading up the architectural practice and its 50 plus employees. Here they explain what the buyout means for the business and detail its strategy for growth. I suppose to start with the MBO, to get a bit of kind of general comment about that, how well do you think this will sort of position AEW for its next phase? You know, what does this mean for the company?
Hopefully, it stands us in great stead to move forward. Andy Critchlow has been a fantastic MD for the last few years. He's always had 2021 in his mind as the time when he'd have spent 20 years at AEW. And he'd previously agreed a 10-year deal with Steve and Nigel, to previous shareholders, when he did that deal in 2011. And really, he's had that 10-year period stuck in his mind to be the end of his first career and give him the opportunity to take a break, and then do something completely different in a different industry. He doesn't really know what that's going to be yet, but he just felt that the time was right to move on. So we, at the start of the year, myself and Colin sat down with Andy, and we were delighted to be able to take the opportunity to move forward with AEW. It's a fantastic business that I've been part of for the last 21 years. So, I know it's inside out. Colin's been with us a slightly shorter period of time than that, but, during that time, he's been fantastic in helping us move forward. And we're really excited about the future.
Yeah, it also, Sarah, just to add to Andy's comments, it also gives us an opportunity to look at the next leadership team within AEW. We have a really strong senior leadership team of 7 associate directors. So it gives them now the opportunity to move forward and come up with new strategies. Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. And just to be clear, Andy Critchlow is so he's not retiring or anything. He's actually planning to move sort of to a different industry and have a whole career change.
Absolutely. He's just always had it in his mind that he wanted to do something else. When Steve started to become ill, Andy, I think, was quite reluctant to take on the MD role. It's something that I think Steve and Andy had talked about a few times, and Andy had, pretty much shied away from it. But he decided that he would take on the challenge at that point, and he's absolutely thrived in the role, and really took the great foundations that Steve and Nigel and the other directors had previously put in place, and he really honed that and really taken us to a new level. And it's been fantastic to have been part of that. Myself and Colin have obviously been directors throughout that process and have been part and parcel of putting together the business plan and the strategies that we've been implementing since 2017. And so, when you ask the question of what's the next plan, it's never going to be ripping up the rule book and starting again. It's always going to be very much evolution, not revolution, building on our we split the business up into 3 key themes, which is our people, our projects, and our performance.
We were heading for a record year until March arrived.
What kind of impact did that have on the business in terms of projects? Was it sort of mainly delays along the whole project chain? And
it was more delays and loss of work, and a lot of that work is now back on track. So we had sites closed, planning applications were delayed, Clients were reassessing their finances. But thankfully, we have extremely good projections going forward.
What do you project for the kind of the coming 12 months? And what's driving that mainly?
I think we'll be aiming to slightly grow the business again. We're trying to be as confident and as ambitious as possible. At the moment, we keep very, very close tabs on our financial position. We monitor it regularly with our senior management team. And at the moment, we can see the next 4 or 5 months very comfortably, with a pipeline of potential work stretching out into the future from that. As a consultancy business, often a 3-month horizon is maybe the best you can see sometimes, even in the best of times. With projects, moving up and down and around. Nothing ever stays still. We're always just trying to juggle all the projects, and some things stop, some things start again, and that's just how it is. But as myself, Colin said, the pipeline of work is very strong. The split, I suppose, the split of where our work is in the past 7 or 8 years has changed dramatically. So just back in 2013, the business was 85% retail. So over the past, as I say, 7 or 8 years, we've been working really, really hard to actually diversify that client base, and make sure that as a business we were robust by having a spread of work across all our key sectors. So we're working across industrial, retail, accommodation, sport and leisure, and offices.
And that was part of a strategic planning. It wasn't by luck, Sarah. We strategically set about to do that, so we weren't reliant on one sector so much.
Yeah.
Which has proved extremely successful in the current climate.
And that strategy is really the way that we've tried to achieve strategic growth as well. So we've not tried to reduce the amount of retail that we've been doing per se, but what we've tried to do is grow the other sectors. So keep retail as it was, grow accommodation, grow offices, grow industrial, grow the sport and leisure, just keep that retail. But over the years, I think we've been quite successful in doing that, and that's the strategy that we're sticking to. We always have talked about our key sectors. We're not scattergun. We don't accept commissions in areas that we're not strong in. We really do focus on the areas that we know inside and out, and we can add real value to our clients. Now, that doesn't say that we're not trying to gradually move into different sectors, and Colin and his team already have some great experience about things like later living and care.
Okay.
We're just in the process of actually recruiting another member of the team, which I can't mention at the moment, but that he'll be sat in the office by the middle of October.
Oh, right. Okay.
He'll add
Is this another director or
no, someone coming in at associate level?
Okay.
But we're really excited about that, and obviously we'll be telling you about that nearer the time, along with a new marketing manager who, again, we've just recruited. So they both start on the 12th of October. So some really good acquisitions for us in terms of new people coming in. They were announced to the team last night.
So later living in care. So to rewind, yes. So that's not to say that you're not sort of exploring some of these new sectors. Can you give any more examples of sort of new areas that you'd like to gradually sort of move into? So later living in care is one. Are there any others?
Historically, we haven't done a massive amount in the public sector. It's largely been private commercial work. So we have been just making, I suppose, gentle strides into that area of a slightly different client base. The area where we've had the most success in that is actually sort of town centre regeneration now.
Yes. You've been doing a lot of that, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's a really good sort of blend of the experience we have in master planning, and then the experience we have in all those different sectors. So, town centres are now changing. We're reducing the amount of retail, which we obviously have a lot of experience in, but in reducing that retail, it tends to be making space for leisure activities to drive footfall into the town centres, bringing in that sort of daytime, nighttime economy. Also, tends to be increasing the amount of housing and accommodation in the town centres, and also bringing in more office space. As we're doing at places like the Mersey Centre, where we're working with Glenbrook on the stock, the old M&S building, which is going to be retail at ground floor, but we're looking at breathing some new life into the upper floors of that building by creating some exciting new office space.
And what's been interesting with that, Sarah, as well, is given our experience in the private sector, we've been able to match our public clients with private clients, and it's creating a lot of opportunities just by introducing the two sectors and looking at joint ventures. So that's proving really successful at the moment.
Right. Okay. As in your existing clients, you mean, Colin?
Yeah. So we've been working closely with regional local authorities, and we've been introducing them to our private clients and commercial clients, and it's generating interest in joint ventures that we would never have thought of originally, which has been quite interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's brilliant. Can you give an example of that?
I'll give you the scenario, but I can't name the names. It's that we've introduced a hotel group to a local authority, and it's generated a project which will be coming on stream probably in January.
Thank you to Andy Rainford and Colin Savage for speaking with us, and to our listeners for joining us. You can read the full interview on our website, placenorthwest.co.uk.